We transition so many times in our lives. Dr. Chandaria, D.P. Shah, S.J. Shah, they were the early family members who started the journey of roofing sheets from the 50s. The Safal Group as we know it today was actually started, the ideas and the small beginning was started in 1994. We already had Mabati and Gal Sheet and Steel Africa and InSteel. So I moved to Nairobi in 1994, but I was coming to Nairobi quite often in the previous years from about the late 80s. So around 1994-95, we decided we must grow. And Sarit also moved to Uganda after he got married to be in Africa. He had lived in the UK, Canada, and I said, look, come and live in Africa and let's do things. So around 95, we commenced what you know today as Safal Group. And we participated, took a stake in South Africa in a roofing company called Safintra. We started Ethiopian Steel, I think 95, 96. And we started incorporating all the roofing companies into what we now know as the Safal Group. So the journey started, I would say, effectively about 25 years ago. And we continued expanding regionally. South Africa, we were there. Then we acquired something in Zambia, started in Angola, Mozambique, etc. Now, of course, the interesting thing was, as we were growing, the management also needs to grow. The difficulties continue to increase because we are working in many geographic areas, many different cultures, with many different types of management and people. So, as the group was growing, the top management at the group also needed to grow in terms of its management skills, not the business skills at operations, which were ably looked after by the general managers or the executive directors, but we needed to have a common group strategy, common group objectives, HR practices, financial reporting, accounting systems, product innovation, supply and purchase, supply of goods from one group company to another. So as the business grew, the complexities of the business of running a group also increased. And in the last 25 years, I would say we have had a management transition and a structural change 4 times already. The environment has changed, the competitive nature of the business has become more intense. The way we do businesses are changing. The governmental regulations in many countries are increasing. The infrastructure is not to the standards that are required. The supply management chain gets disrupted, as we all know, in Africa because of environment, regulations, insufficient capacity to transport goods, for example. The roads are poor, and in poor weather, roads do become impassable. So the management intensity required at the group level has been increasing. We've had to change structures. As I mentioned, we've had 4 changes in structures in the last 25 years. And structural changes continue, management has changed. We need different type of people today compared to what was very good 10 years ago. Today the requirements are also for different type of people. Different type of skills, I would say, is more relevant, and with that means that some people changes are required. So now we are approaching another change in the top management. A few years ago, we decided we needed a full-time CEO to lead the group further, who has skills which we internally did not have. And it was also time for me to make a change and move to some of my other responsibilities, give more time to those responsibilities, because in the last 5 years, the amount of time consumed by Safal Group was substantially higher than what I had envisaged. So we have now reached another dawn, another period, which I presume will take us forward for another 4 or 5 years, and to even greater heights as far as the group is concerned. And recently, Mr. Anders Lindgren joined as the CEO, and I am moving out. I have moved out. However, I would still be around as in the supervisory board of the group, but not involved in any operations. My office is always open for all Safal people to come and have a cup of tea, exchange ideas, share views, but I will now leave the running, the day-to-day running, to Anders and his team. I think next 5 years I'm still around and in good health, and I know we're doing a few new things in the group which are still at a nascent stage, and I will definitely be giving some attention to that, and on a routine basis assisting Anders and his management on matters which have history, which require some deeper knowledge, and that deeper knowledge may not be with everyone. So you could imagine me as a walking library for Safal, a chest of information, and possibly the new ideas may be good, but some old ideas may still be valid. And I know with today's new management, Anders and us, the oldies if you like, we will continue making the Safal Group the best group in Africa for building solutions. As the new leadership takes helm, 2 pieces of, I would say, advice or history that I would like to leave with them. One is that what one of our past HR group directors said, we are a group which are formally informal or informally formal, meaning we are still a family. As the diversity increases, we need to increase a certain level of formality in our operations. However, we must not let formality, officialdom, bureaucracy take over the family values and tradition that the group has grown. We are still a family, and at the end of the day, our values must be family related rather than hard-nosed business related. I think the second thing which will be of importance is the delegation of responsibility the freedom for our managers to act and not be constrained with too many rules and regulations. Definitely, as we grow, there has to be discipline, there has to be accountability, responsibility goes with all that. However, we must still retain the culture, the feeling that our managers actually feel that they are not in a straitjacket role. They have certain freedom, certain independence, and with that we hope some of the entrepreneurial spirit will show up, because at the end of the day, without that, the businesses cannot grow. So formality is important, discipline is important, but the family and the informal approach between colleagues, peers, subordinates, bosses is equally important.